This CACFP meal pattern webinar on family-style meals was presented on September 17, 2019, and presented to a center sponsor audience. The version you are currently viewing has been edited and shortened from the original.
Hello, and welcome to the September 17, 2019 Meal Pattern Success webinar. My name is Caitlin Screen, and I will be presenting the webinar today with assistance from Darcy Miller. Today, we'll be taking a quick look at the Family Style Meal Service handout that was developed by ODE, and then going over the basics of why Family Style Meal Service is beneficial, the requirements for Family Style Meal Service, and how to start Family Style meals if you are not already doing so. After that, we'll take a look at common scenarios and some common questions. We'll end the training today with some best practice tips and time for your questions. Before we get started, let's do a quick poll. We want to know whether your center or site uses Family Style Meal Service right now. The answers can vary from yes, you use it for all meals, to only for some meals or age groups, or no, you don't use Family Style Meal Service at this time. Here's the Family Style Meal Service handout. You can find this on our CACFP Meal Pattern and Menu Planning page on the ODE C&P CACFP site. You can also download it under the Handouts tab on the navigation panel. This handout provides a brief overview of Family Style Meal Service, and the back of the page gives step-by-step instructions for a complete Family Style meal, along with a checklist you can use to make sure your Family Style Meal Service is meeting all the requirements. Family Style Meal Service is one of the styles of meal service that is allowed under CACFP. In contrast to restaurant style, where meals are served fully portioned to participants, Family Style allows participants to serve themselves from communal bowls, pitchers, and platters. In this style of service, all the participants sit at a table where a supervised adult is seated. Communal dishes are set on the table along with tableware and servingware, and once all the food is on the table and everyone is seated, the participants are allowed to serve themselves. We see this style in Head Starts and child care centers very frequently. The reason why it is used so much is because it has many benefits. Participants are allowed to choose how much food they want to take and how much they want to eat from the choices that are available. This helps participants to self-regulate their food intake and learn how to listen to their hunger signals. Some participants may be hungrier one day and not so hungry the next, and they can take the amount that suits them. In addition, in child care settings, having children at the table with a supervising adult during meal times can help develop many social and motor skills, such as saying please or thank you, learning to share with friends, and learning how to pour milk or use tongs. Through passing bowls and making decisions, Family Style Meal Service encourages conversation between participants and the supervising adult. In child care settings, supervising adults may act as a role model by taking small portions and talking about the food. Just remember that if a supervising adult is eating as well, to increase the portions provided. Overall, Family Style Meal Service builds a sense of community and reinforces the idea of meal times as a positive time. There are a few requirements for serving Family Style Meal Service, and they are necessary to ensure that participants have a chance to get the full minimum portion. First, all required meal components must be on the table at the same time. You cannot serve some of the components first and then some of the components later. Second, all food items must be served with enough quantity to provide the minimum portions for each participant and supervising adult. This means all participants could get a full serving if they wanted. Some centers serve the supervising adults as well, since having teachers or caretakers eat can role model good eating behavior. In this case, making sure to add an extra portion that will be adequate for the supervising adult. Next, only take the point of service meal count after everyone is seated with all the requirement components on the table. It can be easy to forget to take the meal count during this time, so staff should have a system in place to take meal counts as soon as everyone is seated and ready to eat. It's also very important that there is a supervising adult at each table. A supervising adult needs to be present to make sure that the meal service is running smoothly and participants are passing food around. In addition, they can help if spills or other problems occur. Once everyone is seated and the meal count has been taken, participants must serve themselves if they are able. If participants decide not to take any component or only take a small portion, the supervising adult must offer the food again later to them. The supervising adult can offer, but must not force the participant to take the food. For example, asking the participant, "I see that you didn't take any green beans. Would you like some?" later during the meal would be sufficient. In some cases, you may have a child who says, "Yuck, I don't like green beans." And this would be a great opportunity for the supervising adult to discuss why they like green beans if they do, or the color, texture, or even how it's grown. While the child may not take any green beans at this time, by talking about it without forcing the child to take the green beans, it may encourage the child to take more green beans in the future. In situations where a participant is not coordinated enough to serve themselves, a supervising adult may help the participant. But when serving, the supervising adult must serve the participant the full minimum portion size for the component. When a supervising adult helps out a participant, this is considered a combination restaurant family-style meal service. Any component served restaurant-style must be served with a full minimum portion size. If you are planning on starting family-style meal service, you will want to set yourself up for success. Here are some tips to make sure that your family-style meal service runs smoothly. It starts with the equipment you buy. Make sure that any servingware you choose is appropriate for the age group served. For toddlers and wobblers, small tongs and bowls may be needed to prevent spills. Next, make sure that classrooms or sites are communicating with the kitchen each day about their attendance numbers so you can minimize waste. Remember that for all sponsors except adult daycare centers, water needs to be offered throughout the day. There needs to be a balance, however, since you will want to make sure that the water served doesn't displace fluid milk. During the meal service, make sure that participants are washing their hands before coming to the table. It's also very helpful to have participants help out with setting up tables and cleaning up. This can teach responsibility and help younger children develop fine motor skills as well. Most importantly, though, make sure that the staff knows who is responsible for taking the point of service meal count. Remember that point of service meal counts can only be taken once all the food is on the table and all the participants are seated. Now that you have a primer on how to start family-style meals, let's look into a common scenario. In this scenario, you are getting ready for lunch and your assistant is doing a great job of making sure the kids are washing their hands and getting ready to sit down when you notice that you are missing the fruit component for your lunch. You have your meat, your milk, your grain, and your vegetable, but no fruits. What do? There's a lot of different actions you could do in this scenario, and the right answer will depend on how your center is set up. Your main goal will be to make sure the participants are supervised and that they are getting a meal with all the required components in the minimum serving sizes. Success in these situations will often depend on how much planning has been put into the place long before the situation occurs. In our ideal situation, there will be a procedure in place for this scenario, and the staff will be trained to know exactly what to do. Here are some successful ways we've seen this situation handled. If the kitchen is on site, it makes life a little easier. The staff can call the kitchen and have them send additional portions of the missing component over immediately. Kitchen staff should send over the food as quickly as possible because all the components must be on the table before a reimbursable meal can be counted. The classroom staff should wait until the fruit component arrives to start the meal. If the kitchen is not on site and the food is delivered from a satellite kitchen, then call the kitchen as well to see if there's anything they can do. But also check with nearby classrooms to see if they mistakenly were provided with your fruit component. The delivery person should also be notified that there's an issue. If this is a common occurrence, then kitchen procedures should include a double check before meals are delivered. If only the fruits are missing, then see if there's any backup supplies at the site to complete the meal. Sometimes sites may keep an emergency supply of shelf-stable components. If they are available in the minimum required portions, then the staff should serve the backup fruits and continue with the point of service meal count. If, after checking around and knowing there are no fruits available to complete the meal, the next step will be to serve the meal as you have it with the missing component. But make sure not to claim those meals. If mealtime staff are not trained on what is allowed or disallowed, then a procedure must be in place for the mealtime staff to notify the kitchen, and a system must be in place to disallow those meals before monthly claims are submitted. Now let's look at some common questions. In our first question, we have a sponsor who is worried about sanitation, especially during the dreaded cold and flu season. How can you prevent spreading germs while implementing family-style dining? The answer starts with good hand washing practices. Of course, kitchen staff should always practice good sanitation, but it's also necessary for participants to wash their hands before a meal since they will be touching the same servingware. In addition, centers should have a strong sick child or sick adult policies in place. These are policies on when your center will send a participant home due to illness. During cold and flu season, though, additional serving bowls and pitchers should be used to cut down on the number of times bowls are passed around. If a participant is very ill and needs to be present for mealtime, this would be a good time to use combination restaurant and family-style dining, and have the staff serve them instead of having them serve themselves. As always, when staff serve participants, they must serve the full minimum portions. Next question. There's just too much food. We can't fit all the minimum required portions on the table. Or the minimum required portions make the bowls too heavy for the children to pass around. What can we do? The answer is to think creatively. Sometimes smaller bowls can work for both problems. If you don't have enough space, having slightly smaller bowls can help. Other times, you might have a very small table and there's no way for everything to fit. In these cases, you can consider having a table extender. This can be a side table that can be set next to the main table or a rolling tray that is next to the table. Ideally, all the food would be at the same height so participants can see all the food that's available. If similar height side tables or trays are not available, make sure it is within arm's length and available to pass around by the children. If you have younger children who find the larger servingware to be too heavy, it might be time to invest in multiple smaller bowls. Here's one last question that we get frequently. In this one, you have a child or participant who is taking more than their fair share, and this means everyone else does not get enough. In these cases, we would encourage you to have the classroom staff speak with the child and observe whether the child is finishing the large portions. In rare cases, the child may be very hungry and is needing extra food. In these cases, we would encourage staff to increase portion sizes to make sure that everyone is getting sufficient portions. Most of the time, though, it is because a child has a favorite food item or the child is unaware of how much they are taking. In those cases, this can be a learning experience for the child. Remind them that they should leave enough for others and that they can get more when the bowl or plate comes around again. If this is a consistent issue with a child, it may be necessary to switch around the table seating or change how bowls are passed so that the child is getting the bowls or plates with the preferred foods after other participants have had their chance to take their portions. Each situation is unique, and this is a good time to work with the families to see what strategies might be working at home. Family style can look very different from center to center, but there are some best practices that all centers can use. First, if you have young children that are new to family style and you're worried about spills, it's always a good idea to practice family-style dining skills with participants using empty bowls and plates first. Practice passing water, toys, and even sanding cups or bowls. Make sure to sanitize the cups and bowls before using it again for food. Another great tip is to use age-appropriate servingware. For example, small lidded pitchers that hold 2 to 3 cups and small tongs that are easier to manipulate for small hands. Another great idea is to use measuring cups when serving portions. Measuring cups are inexpensive to buy, and you can see right away if a child is getting enough food for a full portion. While it's okay if a child does not get a full portion when they are serving themselves, it can help the supervising adult to know when to ask the participants if they would like more. We discussed having participants set up and clean tables a few times, and while it's not required, it can develop a sense of responsibility and teamwork. And based on mealtimes observations, the children love helping out. One thing you will always want to stress to your classroom or site staff is that mealtime should be a positive experience. When supervising adults are at the table, they act as a role model for good mealtime behavior, and children often eat more when they see adults eating as well. Finally, Meal times are learning times as well. Bring in the day's lesson to the meal, or incorporate the meal into lessons on courtesy, sharing, colors, flavors, numbers, and a whole bunch more. Most of the basic information we discussed today can be found on the CACFP Memo 05-2017. This was sent out on January 5th, 2017. We also have the Family Style Meal Service handout that we went over earlier, which provides the information in short lists. If you would like to see what family style dining looks like at a real site, this video from Colorado Head Start provides 3 great examples of family style dining. This link is available from our website, and you can follow the link from your PDF slides. Today, we looked at the Family Style Meal Service handout that was created by ODE C&P. We defined Family Style Meal Service and went over the benefits and requirements of this meal style. We also looked at some of the requirements for starting a family style meal. And to round out our training today, we looked at a common scenario with family style meals and looked at 3 frequently asked questions as well as some best practices to incorporate into your family style meal program. Finally, we took a quick look at a few of the resources that are out there.